Happy Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
So it is the holiday weekend. We're recording on a Friday night. This will release on Saturday morning, which is Christmas Eve, for those of you who celebrate the Christmases and whatnot. So we're Almost in Agreement at gmail.com. Find us on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. Go to the website, almostinagreement.com. While you're there, I don't know, check out all the episodes, share it with people. I'll be working on an election guide for the 23 election for the city coming up. Among other things as we're moving forward, I'm trying to get Justin from For All to come on and help me explain to Sam better what Certificate of Need is and some of the other agendas that For All Tennessee is doing this year. So we'll probably be doing that next week. So look forward to that for some New Year's conversation. So anyway, it's the holidays. Gonna have a fun mix episode for you guys. So intro's gonna play through and we're gonna do this thing. Okay, hi friend.
Hi.
Okay, so I've got Lily, or as I like to call him, Easy E, but he doesn't like that nickname. But I'm
Don't call me that.
Like I said. But he's going to sit in with me for a little bit. We're going to talk because, as most of you guys know, we had a pretty interesting week, and it involved the safety of children. And so I figured I'll bring in one of my children and get their thoughts on the topic, and then I'll expound a little bit more on it past that. So this is going to be one of the Chunks and Fits semi-solo shows like I do every once in a while as needed. So let me ask you this. Let me see how I want to word this question. Actually, let's back up a little bit. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. And some people actually might remember me from being in earlier podcasts.
For sure. You've been on and off a few times.
Yeah, I've been in like 6.
Okay, so who is responsible for you?
Me.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. You beat my argument right off the bat, guys. I just got beat by a 10-year-old, so I got nowhere to go from here. So let's just call it a show.
I don't believe you.
You're right. I'm not done talking to you because you don't think I have any responsibility to you?
I mean, you do.
Okay. So when I say who's responsible for you, who's responsible for you?
You and me and Mom and them.
And them. Who's them?
Like, adults who are my family. Like, if Grammy said, go grab this in the car because
I'm your grandmother and I told you to.
Because she's doing something, then I would.
Right, and that's a respectful thing to do. And so, right, so I agree that you are my responsibility. And to some level, no matter how much it's not me, your actions, at least until you're an adult, are my responsibility.
Yeah.
So if you were to go out and steal something from a neighbor, well, you can't really, you could give the thing back, but if you broke the thing, you don't have the means to replace the thing. So it would be my responsibility as your parent.
Yeah.
To replace the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be my responsibility and the police's responsibility to figure out what the appropriate punishment for you as the thief would be.
Yeah.
But I guess this is a long way around. So there's a couple of things that have been going on recently that there's a big stink about protecting children from other adults. Now, I know in school you have sections where you talk about personal safety.
That's happened in library before. And basically to sum it up is don't touch people in inappropriate spots. That's basically what the library
and they talk about what to
you.
do when somebody tries to do some of those things to you and how to handle those situations.
Yeah, they're just like, tell your parents.
Right, because I'm the one that goes and picks a fight with another adult on your behalf because you're not going to pick a fight with an adult.
Yeah, I'm
even
a
if that
child.
adult's doing something inappropriate.
Yeah,
Okay.
or a kid. Because, another kid could be doing it.
That's true. That's very true. And so one of the things that happens in politics especially is people like to use the idea of protecting kids as their reason for doing something. And so I don't know. Let's pause right there and we're still on the same topic, but we're going to kind of put a sidebar on it. Do you know what a drag queen is?
I think.
Okay, so just for everybody listening, this is my youngest. He's 10. He's in 4th grade.
Uh-huh.
Right? This is, I know these things, right?
Actually, I don't know what a drag queen
Okay,
is.
that's fine.
I've heard people say it before, and I'm like, and I think of like beauty and stuff, although that's probably not true at all.
No, what do you think it means, regardless of what, it doesn't matter what's right. Just tell me what you think.
My guess is, like, a drag queen is, like, you know when people go on, like, stages and dress up in front of people who, like, vote 1 out of 10, 10 being great?
Uh-huh. Like, so, some sort of
kind of
stage competition, talent show sort of thing?
I mean, maybe not the talent show part, but the people dressing up.
Okay, so what does people dressing up mean when you're saying that?
Just like putting on fancy clothes and
just any old fancy clothes? Just a nice suit? A dude in a nice suit?
No, like a woman in a nice, expensive dress and a beautiful, like, face mask or something like that.
Okay. All right, well, let me educate you a little bit then.
What?
Because you're close. You're right around it. What a drag queen is a man...
Oh, I remember now from the Nailed It, and there were 2 men who I thought were women.
Yeah, perfect. That's a great example. I didn't even think about that one because we very much enjoy that show. Because I was thinking about it. Okay, so what happened was downtown in the big theater where they do big concerts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the Tennessee Theater down there on Gay Street.
Mm-hmm.
They hosted a Christmas drag show. And so it was a whole bunch of drag queens that were doing just a show, whatever show they do. I don't know. I've never been to a full drag show myself.
I haven't been to one at all.
And that's fine. But so this event went down, and a bunch of people were upset, trying to get the city and the county, even the people that run the Tennessee Theater, as well as the promoter that was putting on the event, and the police and whatever, to stop it. They said this is inappropriate.
It is inappropriate.
How so?
I mean, like, a bunch of men dressing up into lady costumes, essentially.
Okay.
I think that's inappropriate just by itself. Whoops.
You're fine. Tell me why. I'm curious.
Just because, like, why would you do that? Plus, isn't it our, like, what if there's kids there? No one would... Like, if I went to one of those shows with, I don't know, you, for example, then I would be totally freaked out.
Okay,
I'd be
well,
like, why are these men dressing up as women and then putting on a show?
Okay, the answer to the question is, I don't know. Because they enjoy it, and people enjoy watching it. Why do actors put on costumes and pretend to be superheroes?
Because they enjoy it.
I mean, and more importantly, the audience enjoys it.
Yeah.
So it sells tickets.
Which makes them money.
Okay, so again, I'm not trying to tell you how to think about this. I just want you to think about it. Now, when you said it's inappropriate for you because you don't understand it, is there something that is... Would it damage you? Would it make you hurt or sad or upset about something?
It would make me probably just upset.
How so?
About just humans in general.
Why so?
Because, like, why would a human dress up as a different human? Just love yourself the way you are. You don't have to do that.
I understand that, but is it possible that is the way they are?
I mean, yeah, but...
Because, I mean, think about it like this.
That'd be really weird.
Who decided that pants are for boys and dresses are for girls?
I don't know. Someone who was... Like, have you ever seen just, like, a man wearing a business suit and a dress before? Because, like, men are more of the business people... And so, like, a man wearing a business suit with a dress, or like a business suit over a dress, that would be weird looking, and I don't think anyone would like the looks of it, and that's why
Okay, so on the business suit example, does the clothes you wear make a difference in your ability to do the job?
I mean, what if you were sitting in, like, an office chair with a dress on?
Mm-hmm.
That would be probably very uncomfortable, because a dress is supposed to stick out.
Maybe.
And
I mean,
so,
girls sit in dresses in office chairs all the time, and they're fine.
Yeah, but I don't know how to word what I'm gonna say.
Okay, well, think about it for a second, because I'm listening to what you're saying in here, and I'm very curious. You are a smart kid, and you have smart thoughts, and I'm curious how you came to the conclusions that you're presenting to me right now. You can feel the way you want to feel about it. I'm not trying to change the way you feel about it, but I'm just curious how you got to these conclusions. And I'm not necessarily thinking that you can just remember how you got here anyway, but this is a complicated conversation. It really is. It's a complicated conversation for adults.
Yeah.
Like, I could sit in here and I can have Sam and Max and AC and any other adults that I know that come in that talk about these complicated issues. And these are complicated issues for us to talk about as adults. So I'm very curious, a perspective of a kid, because I know you see it. I know you see it at school. I know you see it on YouTube's and other places that you entertain yourself with. I know you see some of these complicated gender issues, boy, girl, weirdness, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I know you see those things. And we've talked about it a little bit around the house and passing and stuff like that. And I try to be open, and I know Mom tries to be open, and we try to talk about it and try to figure it out. But it's a big, complicated issue. So, I'm curious where the weird equals wrong to you. Is that for everything? If the kid picks his nose and is weird, that means he's wrong or bad or something like that?
No.
Okay.
Because, one time that's happened to me in school, and
you got caught picking your nose?
Yeah, just one kid in my kindergarten class was like, "Hey, you're weird because you picked your nose," and I was like, "Who cares about that? Everyone picks their nose.
Darn tootin'.
If you don't, you're more weird than me."
You're exactly right. So, backing it up a little bit, right? We started off talking about who's responsible for you. And then we're talking about this drag show thing. Mm-hmm. Now, if I wanted to take you there, especially if you wanted to go,
which I probably would
that's fine.
Never.
But if I wanted to, so what did we do? We went to that Macklemore show.
Yeah.
Does Macklemore use kid-friendly language?
No.
Now, I decided that was okay. Your mom decided that was okay. Do you think it would be fair for, I don't know, the police to be like, no, you can't take your kid there?
Yeah.
You think it would be fair for the police to say no?
I mean, pretty fair. If the kid doesn't know bad words and they go to a concert full of bad words like Macklemore's, then,
So the better way to ask the question, to me at least, are the police responsible for raising you into an adult, or am I?
You.
So who gets to make decisions on what you get to see and when you get to see it?
You.
Okay. That's where I am on this issue. Okay? And so if you didn't want to go to a show, I wouldn't take you to a show.
Yeah.
I wouldn't force you to a show. That's not 100% true. I might take you to something that you say you don't want to do because I think it's important that you see it. There are some things out there.
Yeah.
Like, I would love for you to come hunting with me and see the process.
I've gone hunting a bit before.
Right. But sadly, we were unsuccessful.
Yeah.
And the successful part is the part that gets kind of scary. You hear the big gun go boom, and you also get to see the dead animal.
Yeah, I would, if I actually saw that, I'd be, freaking
Look, man,
out.
We just had bacon, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
And pigs are cute.
Yeah.
That's part of the process.
I know.
But again, I think there are some things that I think are important enough that I'm going to make you see, even though you don't want to. Mm-hmm. Like, I made you watch me get a shot one time because you don't like shots.
Yeah, and one time, the day before Cinco de Mayo, because we had a big party on Cinco de Mayo for Biggie's birthday.
Yep. You guys get the joke yet? Big E and Easy E. That's the whole reason why I like the combo.
I was going Biggie and Lily because
but it
small,
doesn't matter. You're not old enough to get the joke. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Okay.
Continue. The day before your brother's birthday, what happened?
we went to a Cinco de Mayo party, and it was like, instead of turning the pig into just like regular pork or bacon or something like that, they just served like the pig by itself.
It was a whole roast pig. Yep.
Yeah, and some people ate the eyes and stuff.
That's a little rough. I wasn't on board with that. But
I didn't eat any of it. I just went home that night.
I know, because it made you
ate
uncomfortable.
leftovers.
I know. And I feel kind of guilty about that because you're a little young to be pushing through something like
Yeah,
that.
I was like 7 or like
Maybe
6.
even 6, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been a perfect dad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I forgive you.
Thanks, buddy. I love you.
But yeah, for talking about the Macklemores again, I didn't hear any bad words.
It was a crazy mess of a show.
Yeah,
anyway.
it was a mess. We were on like one of the top floors, and I couldn't hear any bad words. I could barely
You couldn't hear anything. That's what.
I could barely hear anything.
So
Yeah.
a lot of concerts are that way. To be honest with you, they're really loud, and so they're so loud that you can't hear, and which is a weird combination. So anyway, all right. Well, I think I've led you to most of the conclusions, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to tell you how to think about it, but I want you to think about it because I think the more broad issue that I think is important for you and I to talk about in this and in general is, I think you said it perfectly. How did you say it? You said, just be you. Why do you do that? I think what you need to work on is your assumption of that is weird to you might be them. And just be okay with that. You don't have to you don't have to like it, but you have to respect the fact that that's them.
Just like, it's weird finding out that someone is a boy because, like, they dress up and act like a girl.
Well, that's maybe that, but again, my point is maybe that is them.
Yeah.
And maybe that is how they feel, and so instead of pretending to be or instead of acting like a boy because they're in a boy body, they act like themselves, which is more like a girl, even though they're in a boy body. Who cares?
Like, everyone was technically born as a girl.
Not born, but as in the process, you're a girl first, and then whether you switch to a boy in the process or not depends on things.
And so
I don't remember that in science class, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, science hasn't gone that far for me. I've just heard that before in like a YouTube video, and then I clicked off because I was bored.
I think I recall what you're talking about too. And so, it's kind of like, there's lots of things that the body does that don't match up right and do weird things. Yeah. You have tall people, you have short people, you have people that can't help it no matter how little they eat, they get fat. Yeah. And some people that eat everything in the world and stay skinny.
And there's some people who, like, eat really healthy, but get cavities all the time.
Woo. Pray tell, are you speaking of?
That'd be me.
Mr. After Dinner Treat, 30 seconds after dinner. But you're right. You're right.
I eat healthier than Biggie, who basically gets no cavities.
And he doesn't get sick as often, and you get sick more often.
Yeah, and I like school, and he doesn't.
Right, but that's the point, is that even though you guys are genetically very close, because you're half me and half mom, both of you guys, you are very different individuals.
Yeah, because that's just our personality.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, though, is that you guys who are so physically close, you've lived together your entire lives.
We look virtually the same.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I get where you're coming from, because I don't think I look like my brother, but people tell me I do too. But, all these things for you and your brother should say that you guys are almost identical, but you're not. But my point is that then you have people that have different parents than you, come from different places than you, grew up eating different foods than you, all these different things. Well, of course they're not going to be the same. Yeah,
but why me and my brother, why we're not, identical, like twins are or something like that? And even not that many twins are that identical, but why But why we do that is, how that happens is because, like, whatever we see and do affects our personality.
Right. And you see and do different things. You're in different classrooms. You have different kids that you interact with on a day-to-day basis. All sorts of differences. But I'm just saying that is a multiplier. But again, going back to the point, and I guess this is me trying to kind of influence you because I am your dad and that is my job. People are different.
Yeah,
it'd be really boring if they weren't.
Yeah, like, that's basically saying you want to create a bajillion of the same computers, which can only run the same game, and that game isn't even a game, it's just Google, and they can all only take the same amount and the same Google searches.
Right, it would be a bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
And not any fun at all.
That's why, it's also like just creating robots, which are completely identical, same code, same mind. They think alike.
Exactly.
Like, that's just
boring.
Say
the word, yeah. And so I guess that's my synopsis of what I'm trying to get to here in the greater conversation than the specific where we started. Is it's a good thing. And you don't have to like everybody.
Yeah.
You don't have to like the fact that people do things a certain way.
Yeah.
But to me, to me at least, and you can think about this and maybe form your own synopsis of it. All those different whatevers, whether I like them or not, at the end of the day, it's not my choice to tell them whether that is right or not.
Yeah, because they control their own body.
Exactly.
And they do what they want to do. Like, you want to wear a polka-dotted pants with swirl.
Right, because you like to wear shorts when it's cold outside. Not as cold as it was today, but...
Yeah, because today was freezing.
Stupid cold. Freezing is an understatement.
Can we talk about that?
All right,
for a
well, so
bit?
I want to wrap up on this thing.
Okay.
No, actually, no, we can let it go from there. I got some stuff I'll do in the solo section. So we're going to talk about how ridiculously cold it is, which he has no idea. I was out before the sun came up this morning.
Yeah, that must have been literally... Like, I went for lunch. Like, the power was out in my house. Well, in this house.
Our house?
Yeah, our house.
My house, whatever, it all works.
Yeah. But the power was out, and so, my mom, she took us to lunch going to the mall, and when we went out, like, it looked like a regular summer day out there.
It did, yeah.
It was nowhere near that. Literally, like, have you ever seen mulch frozen before? Yeah. Like, think of something that you've never seen frozen before. It was probably frozen out there.
Yep.
Like, I felt the mulch going in at, like, the 14-ish degrees temperature.
It was 7.
Oh, 7?
When I left this morning.
7. What?
Yeah.
Wow.
7.
And it
didn't get to 10 until like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, and so when we got back, it was like
12.
12, yeah. And so definitely not as cold as, like, I don't know, the 9-ish degrees that, like, when we went to the mall, it was frozen.
Yeah.
And so when we went back home, I felt the mulch in our front yard, and, like, it was as tough as a rock. Like, I don't think I could actually break it.
Yep, it was cold. It's real cold.
It was so frozen, I can't describe it other than this winter is very, very cold. And that's an understatement, I'd say.
But no snow.
Yeah, I hope it snows tomorrow.
Sorry, buddy, not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's probably not gonna happen, but I'd love
We'll get one. You got plenty of time ahead of you. You'll get a white Christmas before it's all said and done.
We've already had a white Christmas before.
Yeah.
What if there was a whole white entire December? That'd be amazing. I haven't.
Yeah, where I lived in Wisconsin, it was. I remember trick or treating in snow.
What?
Mm-hmm. and some amount of snow being around until like March or February.
What?
It was normal.
I mean, some people say in Texas, it's so hot that, it's more of, a summer party, but during winter, I don't believe that. I believe it can still be cold in Texas.
Yeah, it's super cold in Texas right now.
Yeah.
This weather, this cold snap that we got was in Texas the day before.
Yeah, if it rained and was this cold for the entire month, it would have snowed 110%.
Absolutely, that would absolutely be it.
Yeah, it'd be freezing cold. It'd probably, the ice would feel like dry ice but only a small amount, because I've heard that dry ice can kill you if it's in water.
It can explode.
What? What?
Yeah, have you not seen the videos? All those videos you watch, you haven't seen somebody throw dry ice in a swimming pool?
For an influencer, and I'm saying that in quotation marks a lot, just a very expensive YouTuber.
Call him a creator. That's an easy way to do it.
Okay. So a creator, for his birthday party to gain views, he dumped dry ice inside his swimming pool. And guess what? 3 people got in and died.
Yeah, it's cold. It's real cold.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I wanted to talk about that drag show. And I wanted a kid's perspective on, I guess, the drag stuff in general. So, what did we learn tonight?
I don't know how to word it. Other than I'm coughing.
We didn't learn how to cough.
I know.
We already knew that.
Yeah.
I think the thing to me, at least from my point of view, and again, you think about this and come up with your own thoughts on it. But for me, and I don't mean it in the mean way, I don't care.
In the sense that,
Now, for anybody else except for you or your brother, and some other close family, and very close friends.
Yeah.
I don't care. If you want to dress up in girls' clothes, whatever.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you want to dress up in girls' clothes, that's something we can talk about.
Which I wouldn't.
If you do, you do. I'm not going to say you can or can't. But for other people to do it, it's none of my business.
Yeah.
Again, this is my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. You have to think about it. It's none of my business. I don't care. Does it bother? Does it affect me?
No.
Does it do any damage to me?
No.
So then what's the matter?
There's not really a matter other than if, going back to basically the start of this, I want to say why it'd be inappropriate is because, men doing that, they can, really do some inappropriate things, which I don't know. I've seen before people do that on, in short clips on YouTube, and I'm just why? And then I just thought of something, which it's very inappropriate, but I'm not gonna say it, even when the show is off.
Okay, I wish you would. Whether you want to say it on the show or not, that's up to you, but I would like to talk to you about it off air if you're okay with that.
No thanks, because, I don't even really know how to word it other than it's super inappropriate. And, because words are weird.
Words are weird.
Yeah, and, because, you can't always think of a word to say.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I do that all the time. I go,
Yeah, mid-sentence I go, this is, but
okay,
we're getting off topic.
And again, yes, we are, but, again, and I'm not trying to tell you how to think, but just because it's a dude in girls' clothes doesn't mean they're doing things inappropriate.
Yeah, but they
A particular boy in girls' clothes could be inappropriate, but a particular boy in boys' clothes could be inappropriate, too. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'm just saying that some boys do inappropriate things when they have, like, because, like, one time, here's just an example. Oh, so, like, this girl teacher was, like, doing, well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say what it is on the show.
We can say whatever we want on the show, buddy.
Okay. One teacher, they were doing sex with a kid without their own will, and this teacher was a like the teacher told, or at least I'm pretty sure it's sex. I forgot most of the story.
Okay.
But the moral of it is, like, the teacher got put in prison for, like, 2 months.
That's it?
If it was a boy, then they would have locked him up and then threw away the key.
Maybe.
Like,
there is a complicated standard issue there, and I hear what you're saying it. But what does that have to do with our drag thing that we started?
Because, like, if the boy did something inappropriate as the girl, and, like, people were really sold that they were a girl and not a boy, then,
they could get a lesser crime. They could be sentenced less because...
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's inappropriate, not because of the way that person dresses. That's inappropriate because the legal system is unfair.
Yeah, and...
That is a very interesting whole other topic we could go down.
Yeah, but I don't think we should because it's
think
late at night.
Well, I mean, it's I don't know, the late night or whatever. It's just that's a whole different topic.
Yeah.
The justice system has problems with it, and one of those things, for better or worse, is certain genders, boy or girl, have different sentencing on different crimes.
Which is really
weird. And it should be that if you do a thing that is illegal, whether you're a boy or a girl, you get sentenced
the same amount of time,
regardless.
Like,
but that again, that has. But to go back to the point is where does your the idea? Yes, that a boy that dresses as a girl and does drag things like that could be inappropriate and could do bad things. But a boy that dresses like a boy can do bad things, and a girl that dresses like a girl can do bad things.
Yeah.
So is it fair to say that all boys who dress up like girls and do drag shows are going to do bad things?
No, but some people who are in drag shows just do it so they can do something inappropriate in front of a crowd.
I believe you. I'm not saying you're wrong, but sometimes that is the point.
Yeah.
But
that's just.
But again, what I'm getting caught up on and what you're telling me right now is that there's some sort of specialty that separates the drag kids from other kids, or adults rather, not kids. And I don't think that's fair. Because there are people that, again, boys that are dressed as boys that go up on stage to do some sort of performance that are 100% inappropriate.
Yeah.
Especially for kids.
Mm-hmm.
And there are girls that look like girls, that dress like girls, that get up on stage and do things that are ridiculously inappropriate, especially for kids.
Yeah.
So what I'm stuck on here and what I'm kind of poking at is how it feels like you've come to a conclusion that it's more likely to happen. It happens more often when it's a drag show.
I have kind of, and I hear what you're saying. It's just, like, I know that I'm saying it to lead that way, but
Okay, don't worry about trying to fix that. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm curious how you came to the conclusion, though. Can you think about that part for a second?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking about, and I'm pretty sure it's just that I think the boys are like, yes, now I don't, like, go to prison for as long, and so they can do it with, so, like, maybe a 2-month thing for boys is just like a month for girls.
So you're thinking that they are acting out a little bit further because they think they'll have less penalty if they cross a line.
Yeah, and if they're really selling that they are a girl, but also I should be just saying this too, that you're 100% right as well, I'd say.
I don't have to be right, dude. You don't have to agree with me. You could. I just want you to think about it. I'm not trying to tell you how to.
Okay.
Because I think what I keep getting stuck back on is because this is not something we've talked about before, not at any length.
Yeah, we have not at all.
You know, and so this is something that you've learned from your YouTubes, from your friends at school, from your teachers. So you've come to the conclusion that you're working with here. And again, I'm not saying you're right or wrong. It doesn't matter. You've gotten here from the combination of your experiences on the topic, right?
Yeah.
And so,
and it's mainly just kind of from, like, I've seen a bit of that type of stuff on YouTube videos before, and the thing that I was telling you about earlier on the girl and the boy thing.
The unfair prison thing?
Yeah.
Right. That's all on YouTube. Okay. All right. Well, then I may need to step up as a dad because I think you're getting a particularly skewed view through what you're watching.
Yeah, but whenever I watch them, I don't, like, usually it's just, like, a small little clip of it and then done, because, like, what I like watching, there is those types of things in it.
Stuff that sneaks in on the algorithm, I get it.
Yeah, because, like, it's really just a funny show, mainly, but with, like, a few really in-depth maybe not jokes, but just things which really make you think about it. And
well, I would like you to continue to think about it and maybe expand your sources on where you think about it.
Yeah, because, like, YouTube, the algorithm, it's gotten a lot better, and so like, why I saw the thing with the unfair money is because it's not particular, like, someone taking off their clothes. It just
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other part, right? So I mean, I think we've been dead. So like, I think this has been a very deep, very cool conversation. Because I think it comes down to one of the things that you and I talk about, and have been talking about more recently, is that does it matter what other people think about you?
It doesn't, although
it does. It does.
It does.
You can't help it. You can't help it. You're a human being. It does.
Yeah.
But should that affect how you act for you?
No.
And so I guess this is me tying it back to being maybe a little too personal, and maybe I'll edit this out because it might get too personal.
Okay.
Is that there are people out there that are comfortable, that their version of them is doing things that we think are weird. And at some point, they had to make the decision that I'm going to be me no matter what anybody else thinks about it.
Yeah, because, like...
And that's something that everybody has to grapple with throughout their lives. And at some point, you will too.
Yeah, like, those types of nerds, for example, who get bullied in school and stuff, like, if they really like being... I wouldn't say nerd, but being smart and being educated, they go with what they do.
Right, they're more likely to make more money when they grow up anyway.
I mean, also the garbage collectors are.
Yeah, they make good money, garbage collectors do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, teachers say that if you don't learn, you'll be a garbage collector, although...
Garbage collectors make more than most teachers.
Yeah.
I mean...
Unless it's, like, a really expensive school, they do.
Right. So, anyway, I appreciate you taking the time, man. I think this was very interesting and very informative.
Thanks for letting me on the show.
Because I think, this kind of all started because it's... A tactic that is used is we're protecting children, so we have to stop adults from doing things.
Yeah, and I like how the schools are coming in to help it. I just think that they have to do more than just show the kids a video. And
I'm not. That's a whole separate thing, and we can talk about that later. But I'm talking about
we need to do a part 2.
That is something that I think actually is legitimately fair. That is something that needs to be talked about, both from parent to child, but also from a trusted teacher source, because there are bad people out there, and they do bad things. And if we pretend like those bad things don't happen, it doesn't mean they're not going to happen.
In, like, schools, they don't teach you about people white man acting like they're selling candy just to steal you as a child.
Right.
Like, they don't teach you that type of stuff just because they think it won't happen, although it most certainly will, and so they need...
To somebody, yeah. It happens all the time.
Yeah, they need to be extra cautious and teach the kids how to be prepared in these types of situations.
I mean, you guys do active shooter drills, right?
Shooter?
You do, like...
Oh, like hiding... Yeah. Also, school drills, they suck. Like... The fire drill, you have to be quiet, calm, walking in a straight line out of the building. Mm-hmm. No one would be like that. That is just an absurd
Yeah, well, if everybody starts running and screaming and freaking out, then people are going to get knocked over, and there's no way they're getting out.
Yeah, but being in a straight line is very hazardous. Like, I would...
Hey, so look around your classroom next time after break. How many things other than books are made out of wood?
A lot of things.
What?
There are lots of bookshelves in it.
Dude, your walls are brick.
I know.
Your floors are brick. Your ceilings are brick.
Yeah,
glass windows. A classroom could catch on fire. That whole building catch on fire is a big deal.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time to do it. Doesn't really matter. That's a whole aside. I'm going to call it here. I appreciate you. I love you. Thanks for doing this. And we'll be back for another episode with you at some point, I am sure. That's my dude. Anyway, thanks to Lil Easy E for sitting in and talking about it. I don't know. I have to say I'm quite fascinated by some of his takes on it, because it's not something we've spent a lot of time or energy talking about. You know, like he mentioned, we like the Nailed It cake baking show or whatever, and they had a couple episodes, or they had an episode where they had a drag team on it, and you know, he's experienced it somewhere on his YouTube journeys and whatever. I'm a little concerned that he is equating weird to bad. Weird is fine. Weird is not a bad thing. Bad people do bad things, and some bad people are weird, and some bad people aren't weird. And so I'm something I'll have to work on and talk to him some more about. Hopefully he can kind of suss out the difference with a little bit more chit-chattiness about it, because I think it's interesting, because he's very attuned to how he thinks people think about him, and it gets to him, and I don't like that for him, and so I think that's a perspective game that we're going to have to work on for him, because I think he's got to know that there are people out there that don't feel comfortable pretending to be what the world says they're supposed to be, kind of thing, which is stupid all around. Be you, and that should be good enough. And you know, for my more holistic philosophy on it is, I don't care. It's none of my business. It doesn't affect me, because that's the thing. Again, got to say that. You know, does it hurt me? Does it damage me? Does it damage my kids? Not if I don't make it do it. So it's none of my business. Yeah. So the most damaging thing this drag show did to my kids is I just made my kid have a conversation with me on the show. And so while we're still doing it, like Amanda Collins earlier this week did a post, did a screen grab of a Zachary post where he was, you know, claiming victory for this, that, and the other, as far as his fight against this drag show kind of thing. And so I had commented on here. Let me find it. Which, as per usual, I get a bunch of pushback on my comments, like always. And to which I said, so her post was on December 19th. Like I said, it's a screen grab of Zachary's Twitter post about, maybe that's the play. They're trying to, at least, fuck, I don't know. If that's what the distraction is from the Jan 6 stuff, okay. I guess that could be what we're supposed to be distracted onto this thing about, so people don't see the Jan 6. But, you know, hey, Tennessee House 14, while the January 6th committee is in their final public hearing about the biggest threat to democracy that the U.S. has ever seen, your state rep is trying to distract you from the support of the January 6th insurrection, of his support for the January 6th insurrection, by whining about a legal paid performance at a private venue. To which I respond, the question we should be asking Mr. Zachary is, quote, Where in the Republican Party platform does it say the government should be directing small businesses on what they are and are not allowed to do? End quote. If he is part of the party of small government and individual responsibility, quote, how do his actions stay true to his party principles? End quote. To which I got, as per usual, a bunch of pushback and what sort of, because Amanda thinks she's going to turn me into a Democrat, which I think is hilarious, because she said, bless your heart, which I've been in the South long enough to know that that's not necessarily a nice thing. But bless your heart, Seth. You have not yet accepted the fact that the current GOP is no longer interested in political philosophy or principles, only power. To which I can't help but go, where in my statements of questions was the pretense that they did? You know, yeah, I'm poking at them at the principle basis, but that's the politics of it. You know, the reality is not there, but the politics of it. You're on the platform. You're on the platform. You're on the platform. Well, you know, I can't remember who said it, but, you know, the way to win a good argument in politics is to outright the right and out-left the left. So whatever the argument is, if you're talking to a right-leaning person, go further right than them, but that gets the end that you're after, because you can do it a lot of times. This being an example. You know, you're the party of small government. Individual responsibility. What are you doing interfering with small businesses' decisions? What are you doing telling people how to live their lives? That's not small business. That's not small government. It's just not. And so you could pick that apart as a platform issue and go from there. Anyway, Amanda continues to say, you know, they have no solutions, only complaints. They have no successes, only accusations. They give no service, only sound bites. And yes, you can quote me. Well, I just did. And I wasn't asking permission. You put it on a public space. I wasn't going to really care. Anyway, she also said, and I would love for him to have the courage to be interviewed by me or Jesse or Brian or any of the other people, but he's too much of a coward. He knows he wouldn't stand up in a minute of security, blah, blah, blah. To which I replied to her, bless your heart. The political machine at large is not interested in philosophy or principles, only power. While you personally may have some actual values that line up loosely with one party or another, the parties themselves are indeed only interested in power and control. So I'm agreeing with her, and I'm out-lefting her left by saying, you might be one. You might be real. But she thinks she's going to get me to be a card-carrying Democrat before too much longer. So I said, good luck. You know, and then another person comes in and tries to tell me to quit listening to Rogan because Rogan's why I'm a Republican, I guess. But I don't really understand that whole argument. But it's just, again, you know, I'm not trying to cover for any Zachary issues here. I'm trying to pick at him too. But like this automatic kind of play into I'm pushing back on a Democrat means I'm a Republican. I'm not on your team. Okay. Deal with it. I'm not going to be on your team because your team sucks. Whichever team of the two teams that are available are. Your teams suck. You're not doing any good for anybody. Zelensky comes to town. Biden asks for $38 billion. Congress says, no, that's not enough. Make it 45 or 37 and 45, whatever it is. You know, like, I don't know, a $1.7 trillion spending package. For $1.7 trillion, we can't have decent highways to drive on. We can't have maybe a train to get from here to D.C. on in a safe and quick and easy manner. We can't have any of those things, but we could bomb the fuck out of Ukraine. Well, Ukraine can bomb the fuck out of Ukraine where Russian people and forces are, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But we can do that because that's more important. Listen, I'm not trying to say that this whole Putin invading Ukraine thing is a good deal and it's great, but at some point we have to draw a line somewhere. We have to. We can't blank check this thing to death. We can't afford it. You know, I mean, I don't know. Like, you know, not to mention how much it puts our own national security at risk too, but I don't fucking know anymore. Like, I'm crazy. Like, I must be crazy. Like, I have to be crazy. It's the only explanation. Almost an agreement at gmail.com. Email me and tell me why I'm crazy. Because it seems obvious to me. You know, they talk about red pill, blue pill shit or whatever, white pill. I don't know. Whatever it is that I think is my eye-opening experience and all this looking around through the pandemic and through this Ukraine mess and through Bush and Clinton and Trump and Biden and Obama and blah, 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 blah. It's not working. I've been, so my dad got sick a couple years ago, went through a bunch of treatment. It was kind of scary. And at some point in that, he got turned on to a book called Tuesdays with Maury. It's been around for a long time. It's about 10 or 20-year-old book or something like that. He kept talking about it. Every time I saw him, he talked about it. It's like, oh, great book, blah, blah, blah. And so I haven't quite finished it yet. I'm still working on it. And so maybe my comments on it will be completely out of touch with reality when I actually finish the book. Maybe there's a big hook at the end. But, essentially it's this old dude who has, I think it's Lou Gehrig's disease. And he's slowly dying. And he's a professor, and a student of his ends up accidentally kind of getting in contact with him and goes and visits him every Tuesday and kind of slowly watches him die. But like is engaging with him and trying to, this guy's, as he's dying, is trying to impart the wisdom or whatever. And like the underlying theme that he keeps getting to over and over and over again is, if the culture doesn't work for you, make your own. And I think about it in the context of these issues that we talk about all the time. If the culture doesn't work for you, make your own. The drag community did exactly that. The culture at large didn't work for them, so they created their own. That's what I think the technical term for subculture would be. So they created their own subculture. They found their own spaces. They did their own thing. And they became popular. And they needed bigger spaces. And more people did the thing. And those bigger spaces end up being places like the Tennessee Theater. Nobody has to go there. You're not obligated to deal with it. None of that stuff. Their subculture can just keep being their subculture. They're not making you do anything. They're not changing who you are. They made their own culture because the culture at large didn't work for them. Well, the culture at large doesn't work for me anymore either. This idea, this need for the parties, this need for this push and pull game, this it's not even chess, it's a rudimentary checkers game that we're playing. It's not, it's just painfully obvious to me anymore. It's not for me and you. We don't win. We never win. We're never going to win. It's not built for us to win. And so what do? We sit here and just take it. I don't know. There's a line somewhere. And I think that line is getting bigger and bolder and clearer to more and more people. I don't think I'm the only one. I don't think I'm the first. I'm not going to be the last. I think there's a lot of people that are getting real tired of watching this game. I mean, again, hit me up, almosthumanmuseum.com. Tell me if you want to see another Biden-Trump presidential race. Find me anybody on the planet who wants to see that. I don't think there's a single person that wants that. I think there'll be people that'll cope it, that'll make it, that'll justify it, they'll make it, well, we need a whatever. Like we need our Biden, because if we don't have Biden, there's no other Democrat that can beat Trump. So I don't, necessarily really like Biden that much. I don't love Biden. I don't think he's the best Democrat we could put up, but we know he can beat Trump, so he needs to be the one on the ticket. Well, the Republicans can't talk bad about Trump because as soon as you cross the Trump line, other than DeSantis a little bit, as soon as you kind of betray Trump, you're dead in the water in the GOP side of things. And so even though it's pretty clear that most Republicans don't really like Trump that much and the Trumpiness bullshit, there's enough base there that if you cross that line, you are an automatic loser. So everybody has to kind of pander to the Trumpiness. And to whose benefit? Not mine, not yours, not even the people that support Trump or Biden specifically. We all lose because we can't step out of line because the other guy might win. So we don't have to put our best up. We just have to put the one that can beat the worst, I guess. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I don't know what else to do other than to bitch about it. I haven't figured out the action plan. But the first step is to get registered, to get engaged, and to stop voting by party. Vote for people and vote local. At least vote state. Maybe skip local. I don't know. Again, like I've talked about this before, it's like I think we need to flip over how we see government. I think the mayor of Knox County should be have much more actual impact and therefore much more actual scrutiny and eyeballs and all that kind of stuff than the President of the United States, to me. I think, to people in Knox County, to people in, Orange County, California, they shouldn't care at all who the mayor of Knoxville is, or Knox County for that matter. But anyway, I think those are the things we need to work on. I think we need more other parties. We need more independence. I don't care what it is. We need more people who are actually tied to their communities to be the ones running. And we need the people who are voting to stop caring whether there's an R or D or an L or whatever after name. Take 5 minutes, listen to my shows, go get the compass. Let's find places we can find more about our candidates and stop voting for people just because they're the ones that can win the primary. Because the primary isn't about you or me or what we want unless you are actually legitimately like a Republican. That's the only reason the primary is supposed to exist. So we're not supposed to be a part of it. I don't know, guys. Have a happy Christmas. I'm out. I'm just spent. Bummed we couldn't do a full show, but, I'm going to work on this a little bit more in some edits, but we'll see what happens. So have a great Christmas, everybody. Good night.